This is going to be a fairly short video, as all it is my clumsy attempts to put together the KATO M1 Unitrack Master Set and get a loco up and going for the first time. First things first, let's snap together the big loop of track. In theory this should be idiot proof, and I'm just the sort of person to prove whether this is or not. This is all very much easier than I remember it was the last time I tried to put an N-gauge track together back in the 1970s. As I recall, getting those tiny little fish plate connectors to slot together, what with my great big sausage fingers, was no easy feat. But this KATO track just snaps together, no bother at all. That done, it's time to connect up the wiring. Now, back in the bad old days, many moons ago, wiring up the track seemed to be a very technical process. At least that's the impression I have after 47 years have passed, and boy, it's depressing working out that was how long ago it was. But then again, I've never been all that handy when it comes to electrical DIY. But with the KATO Unitrack, the power connectors just slot into the built-in plug underneath the track. Now this really is plug and play compared to the process that my dad used to have to go through to power up his track. There's no soldering iron in sight, for example, and thank God for that. Lastly, I attached the power control unit. Again, this is easy, though I can't quite remember how different this was to the way it was done back in the day. The one thing I will say about this KATO control unit, which is different however, is the built-in facility to add extra powered accessories like point switches and things like that to the actual control box via the ports on the side. Apparently you can daisy chain numerous switches to these. Crunch time. Let's get some rolling stock onto the track, and I won't stop being amazed at just how small N-gauge is compared to my great big claws. Another memory from when I was a kid was the awkward, repetitive planting of the trains I used to have to do to get the wheels to perfectly align with the track. This way was a lot more easy and smooth. And now the moment of truth. Yay! Houston, we have motion. I don't know why I'm so surprised really, but it's such a great moment to see a little loco respond so smoothly to my controls. Let's try some variations in speed, just to get the hang of what this big speed control knob does in relation to this little train. Wow, that's nippier than expected, and probably totally out of scale as far as authentic speed goes. It does make you wonder if there's even a way to estimate what scale speed is. I'll have to look into that. But for me, the most interesting thing about my loco's performance is how slow it can go. I'm enamoured by freight and shunting operations, and so most of my loco's activity will be modelling precise shunting procedures. How immersive this type of railway operation will be in the smoothness of carefully choreographed pickup and delivery of cargo from one place to another. So I was delighted to see that my little steeple cab loco could slow things down with some buttery smooth and precise movements. This seems like a good time to add my additional freight boxcars to my little train. I'd eventually like to buy some more of these freight wagons, as I want them to serve some sort of factory, industry or warehouse on my final layout. These really are terrific little wagons, and it'd be great to have a few more of these to make up a reasonable sized length of train. I'll have to have a look into whether Japanese companies did have their own liveries, though I have a feeling they didn't. Still, this makes these type of wagons fairly generic as to what type of industries that they served, so I can use them for numerous commercial service points on my layout. And that's it. Test done. Everything's running really sweetly, and it's given me the sort of buzz that I thought it would, and I'm very pleased. Obviously now I know everything works, the cogs are now whirring round in my head and concocting all sorts of scenarios for my future layout. But there's still a lot more to think about and plan before I get to create my own little layout world. And there we go, just one small step forward. Thanks for watching.